I was 18 months away from my engineering degree when I made a decision that terrified my parents, absolutely confused my professors because it was just 1.5 year left, and deeply concerned my friends, and changed my life forever. I walked away from one of the most prestigious engineering college of India to start a business with zero experience, zero connections, zero family members in business or anybody I knew in business, and most importantly, without any safety net. Everyone said I was crazy, but today I'm going to tell you why it was the smartest thing I have ever done in my entire life. And I'm also going to tell you 3 signs it might be a good decision for you as well. This is going to be raw, unfiltered truth about what it actually takes to bet everything on yourself and how it turns out. So in 2016, I was at Thapar University. I had a good CGPA. They were getting a lot of good placements. I had a clear, stable path to success. On the outside, everything looked perfect. But on the inside, I felt worthless every day. And the habit of negative reinforcement of teachers was not helping me either. The only strategy they seem to have is to absolutely terrify me. And no matter how hard I worked, I was not adding any real value. There was no feedback of the value is being created or the money is being made or the skills I'm learning, how they apply to the real world. And here's what nobody tells you: 99% of the professors didn't had any real world experience. Nada. No experience at all. They just had really good marks from a really good university. It was like a real world simulation. So the university simulation was that teachers memorizing information to teach others how to memorize information. So finally they can teach others how to memorize even more information with complete disregard to how it applies to real world, complete disregard how this information can be put to use. That's secondary. Who cares how it can put to use? The main objective is to memorize this information. Just keep putting that information in your head so you can sound smart and impress others. And that's pretty much it. How would you apply this information in the real world to solve problems, to help others, to create value, to make money? That's secondary. That's not important. The important part is just memorizing the information. And they were teaching some secret information and some practicals they thought they were extremely valuable, and they're being so generous in teaching them. But none of that information was being translated to real world application. There was a significant disconnect from what the information was and how it can be applied. And nobody seemed to be interested in teaching how to apply the information. So, all in all, it was academic toppers teaching others how to be academic toppers. And that's it. Meanwhile, I started a traveling startup named Freeways with my friends. We traveled to all over India. We traveled to Goa. We started renting out bikes. We were doing some coding. We were doing some scraping. We were getting data. We were contacting people. We were doing sales. We were doing everything. And we learned that the information that we needed to actually create value and make money was far less. Like you do not need all the information in the world. You do not need to understand how the entire world works to be an important part of it, to create value, to create even significant amount of value. And even 0.001% of information that we were putting to use, that we already had crammed so much, we were learning a lot more. We were making money with the startup. And I learned that this path of, information consumption, information overdose, uh, does not create any value. It just lead to feeling information scarcity, that you don't have all the information, and analysis and paralysis, and not creating real world value. When we started the startup, we learned that It was just in activity, the inputs, actions that we needed to take, not trying to understand the entire world. And just taking those actions was the thing that was making us money at such a young age and it's so early in our career with no qualification at all. The biggest turning point came when I had to make a decision. Choose a safe path. So take the green pill or take the red pill and see how this rabbit hole goes. Burn the boats and see where it takes me. And I took the red pill or the or choose to start take a bet on myself in a big way. How I justified myself was that Steve Jobs dropped out of Reed University, so why shouldn't I? And yes, it completely freaked out my parents and even more my family members, relatives, neighbors, everybody around me. But to me, it was a statement that I needed to make to myself that I can trust myself. I can trust myself to figure this out. I had a number in my mind that I wanted to achieve, that I knew that if I achieve that number, it'll be a good decision. So Steve Jobs had this really old video in which he says that look around you. You can also look around yourself. Everything you see has been built by people, created by people who were no smarter than you. And that video was really helpful. All the content of Steve Jobs was really helpful. He's a very, very high signal guy. And I would recommend you that listen to his old interviews. There's a lot of high signal information there and nothing to very less noise, very less to no noise in everything that he has shared. After dropping out, here are some of the positive things I discovered about engineering. Engineers actually make much better entrepreneurs than MBAs or any other field. And here's why. You think in systems, not tactics. So instead of seeing that, oh, what's the next tactic is going to be? Is this the one thing is in trend or do X or do Y? You think the entire system, you look at the entire structure and see which are the weak points, where the stress is more, where its system is getting strained, where are the bottlenecks. So you can see the entire system in action and look at its weak points and then focus on those instead of looking at, oh, what tactic should I use? What tactic worked 50 years ago when this company was acquiring this company or when this company was at a point of a industry disruption. So instead of looking historically for the information or guidance, you look at the current situation as a system, as a structure, and as a set of probabilities where it could go. And you look at where the weak points are, where the bottlenecks are, and you try to get laser focused on them. Right? Because it is at the weak point that our system will break. Not that our system breaks out of random things or religious acts. It breaks when the stress increases and the weakest link breaks. Second thing I learned that we are obsessed with iteration and improving. So it's a constant theme like you put something, you observe its behavior, you get the numbers, how it performed, and you iterate it to make it a bit better on the KPIs that actually matter. And this iteration and improvement is extremely valuable in building a business. You look at the things which are adding value, you work on them, you iterate them, you improve them, and not just out of random acts. You improve them by looking at the metrics that matter. And lastly, engineers, you learn to solve problems. And you start like how to approach the problem, which tools I'm going to use to solve the problems. What are the things that I'm assuming about the problems that may not be true? And this methodological approach to approaching your problems and then solving the problem is really helpful in entrepreneurship. And most of these things I learned by talking to my friends and by the people who were there, not from any professor, not from the curriculum or academic teachings. It was the people from where I was learning the most of these skills on how to think, how to solve problems, how to iterate and improve. This was very contrary to what university was actually teaching me. It was teaching me how to memorize instead of teaching me how to think. It was teaching me how to follow authority mindlessly instead of teaching me how to lead for an outcome. It was teaching me how to seek permission before every step instead of asking for forgiveness if anything is broken. You see, the things that you learn by being there and in that system are the things you have to unlearn after it. Because it's the complete opposite of it. You gotta make mistakes and you gotta be okay with it. You gotta be focused on the outcome, the output, the value created, not following the process, not being attached to the inputs, not being attached to the information or theories. And you gotta learn to how to think, not memorize a lot of information. Now, let me be brutally honest with you. If I had to do everything again, I would not take this path. What I do is I will get a job in consulting. I'll try to learn 80% of what consulting does and really master the problem solving skills by real world application. Then I probably will get a job in sales and media buying and try to master both of those things, because you cannot grow a business uh, without knowing how to sell it, how to market it, how to advertise it. And you cannot have a business if you do not have deeply understood problem solving skills in the real world. So it's like you get the best of consulting and you get the best of media buying and sales. And these two skills are very, very important if you're going to have really big success in your entrepreneurship. So to be completely honest with you, I would take these two paths first before I go full into entrepreneurship. And you can learn these three skills that I've listed here. You got to learn them anyway. And you can either figure out on your own or you can learn from somebody who's already expert at it, right? And this will massively shortcut your time it would take to reach like the great success, right? Now, coming back to the story, after I dropped out, it was not like an instant success story. It was one failure after another failure. I lost friends, I lost a lot of money, I lost a lot of money experimenting, tinkering around, trying a bunch of things and failing, and sacrificing a lot sacrifices. But I made a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot of lessons that were very, very expensive. But every failure taught me something that university simulation could not. How to create value in the real world. When your things are on stake, your money is on stake, your client's money is on stake, your investor's money is on stake. How to create value. 3 years after that, Exact Advantage hit $2.5 million per year. I started this company with my partner, Mitch and Glenn, from Canada and USA. It really took us 2.5 years to achieve 2.5 million per year revenue. It was because of the lot of unlearning that I had to do, was because of the lot of learning of skills that create value I had to do, and relearning the information from a different foundation, with a different belief sets and with a different mindset. I learned how to think, how to solve problems, how to lead, how to sell, how to build habits, how to build routines, how to be persistent, and how to have hope when everything around you is on fire. I learned how to adapt quickly. These are all the things that I could not have learned in university simulation. There was no way I could learn these things. There is no course that could teach you. There is no real, you cannot simulate real world. Real world is as it is. Even the best simulation of real world will not teach you anything. So, how do you know dropping out is a right decision for you? Sign number one, you are obsessed. You are relentless. You are neurotic. You are obsessed. And you have this vacuum in you, this emptiness that university is failing to fill. And you just are taking massive action on some projects, some habits, some hobbies. And you have this obsession in you which just overcomes you and you just go all in 16 hours a day. You cannot, you keep thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. And whole day you take inputs and you take actions. And the normal things that interest everybody else do not interest you. You find it but jarring to enjoy them. The obsession overcomes you. And make sure you do not have interest for the byproducts of success. You are obsessed on getting there. And if you have the obsessions, nothing can disturb it. Even the losses will feel like learnings. All the failures would be reach your brain as, oh, I learned something. It's cool. And all the successes is just one step closer to it. Oh, that worked. And there are no brakes. You're just on the accelerator at full throttle. You want to see the value you're creating. You have this desire to see, like, okay, what value I'm creating. You do not care about permissions, following the process. You are deeply connected to the output. How would I do serve other people or serve the world, serve economy, serve the systems or whatever? How does it is useful? How is it is valuable? Third sign is you like to do experiments. You learn by doing it, not by studying it. And this is very important because whenever I would learn something, I would try to implement it right away. And if you have this ability that you want to put information into action, put information to real world use, then that's also a very good sign that a very good signal that you will succeed if you dropped out. So here are three things. You are obsessed with getting it done. You just do not have mere interest. The feedback that you want is of the output, not of the validation. The reward is out of the output, the money made, the growth achieved, not validation or impressing your friends or impressing your professors or anybody, your parents, no one. Nobody's validation you need. Just want to see the revenue growth or the rate of growth improve or the money being made. These are the things, the output metrics that motivate you or client satisfaction. And now satisfaction can be subjective. So it's a numbers game. How much they're satisfied, how much they are happy, how much growth you have achieved. So these are the things that motivate you because you can quantify the output and optimize for it. Not the random validation. Oh, this guy said I'm doing really good, so I must be doing great. That could get you into a lot of trouble. You like to experiment things because if it's written in the book or it's on the YouTube video, or I'm telling you that, it is likely going to lead to average results. And if you want really good results, you have to learn what everybody is doing and then willing to take experiments using first principles, looking at the what is the North Star, what are you optimizing for, what is the bottleneck, and experiment ways, create hypotheses on ways how to achieve that. Uh, it, do some tests, do some experiments which are likely to succeed, do some tests which are unlikely to succeed but have a lot of promise. And just having this ability really, really helps you. There's a quote by Jeff Bezos in which he says that the rate of your growth is directly proportional to the rate of your experiments. So at Amazon, it's still day one and we are still figuring things out. And there is a lot more wisdom in this statement uh, because you are already trained that there's a step by step process or a secret process, which anybody on YouTube will tell you that there is some secret process that you do not know, or there's a already written process on some book. There is not none of that. You start something and you figure out what the goal you're trying to aiming for, and you figure out what things are matter, what the constraints are, and then you experiment on ways how to get there. Even reading and learning information what anybody has taught is one of the experiments that you could do. Not the experiment. Don't try to get overly confident in like, oh, I got this process which is written. It must lead to success. So I don't need to do anything. I just need to follow it. That's not going to be true in entrepreneurship. You really have to come with this is also an experiment. Following this book is also experiment. You actually know something when you achieved the outcome. That's when you can say that, okay, I created the value. Now I get it. Not before. Look, I'm not saying everybody should drop out. It's up to you. And I've laid out the plans, what I would do differently, what are the signs you should drop out, how my story ended up being. It was the best decision I made in my entire life. Even though at the time it felt like everything is going crazy. So, if you are sitting in a classroom right now and thinking, are you wasting your potential? Then maybe it's time to consider a different path. Do pros and cons analysis. List down the baby steps you could take. The world desperately needs more builders, producers, creators, people who are willing to bet on themselves, people who create actual value, uh, that runs the world, progresses the world, and keeps the world together. Look, the way I see it is that you have approximately 5,000 hours in your life, and that's the time limit that you have. You have approximately 50 million calories of energy that you're going to expend in that time. And how you spend that 500,000 hours, 500,000 hours, and 50 million energy is entirely up to you. Right? And you could choose to spend it by memorizing other people's achievements, memorizing other people's discoveries, memorizing other people's processes. Or you could discover your own and then share it with the world. If this resonates with you and you're also seriously considering it, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know what's holding you back from taking a bet on yourself. And remember, the universe is expanding. So should your ambitions. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.